Good afternoon. I'm Dale Holness, Mayor of Broward County, and I'm here this afternoon to advise everyone that we've issued Emergency Order 2022 with new rules that will impact everyone in our community. The number of COVID-19 cases continue to climb. We continue to see increased hospitalization rate within Broward County and the use of our ICU beds and general hospital beds diminishing. It is important that we take action to stop the continued spread of this virus that is impacting our health and impacting our economy. Emergency Order 2022 will implement new restrictions to curtail the large social gatherings, including house parties, street parties, and other activities that are contributing to the community spread of the virus. So effective today, July 17th, 2020 at 11 p.m. until August 1st, 2020, all of Broward County is on a curfew from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Exemptions to the curfew include active duty police, fire rescue, first responders, news media, delivery or transportation drivers, government employees, persons seeking emergency medical care and medical health care, and utility service personnel. Also exempt are individuals traveling to and from their place of employment, returning to their homes after commercial travel, and persons walking their pets within 250 feet of their homes. Effective immediately, private gatherings at a residential property, single family or otherwise, indoors or outdoors, are limited to no more than 10 individuals. Persons present at such gatherings shall be individually liable for violation of this order and subject to civil and criminal penalties. Short-term vacation rentals that are not actively managed by on-site owners or on-site management companies with staffing or security on-site 24 hours a day will not be allowed to operate. And as for check-in that occurs after July 20, 2020 through August 2020. I'm imploring the public to take responsibility, personal responsibility, to safeguard the health and well-being of each other, to practice social distancing, to avoid gathering in crowded areas, and if they're ill, stay home. Follow the CDC guidelines of washing your hands, and all the protocols that the CDC has put forward for us and the emergency orders that we have set. Now, I know this is going to be a tough situation for law enforcement, so we have with us here today Colonel David Holmes from BSO to help us with this. And from the League of Cities, we have Mayor Sturmer from Western, who's been working with us from the onset of this pandemic to ensure that we're doing what's necessary to protect the health and well-being of the people of Broward County. Our action is in response, again, to the increase in the number of positive tests and the high positivity rate that we've seen, the increased number of people in hospitals, and the utilization of hospital beds. Public, We're losing 3 lives per day on average in Broward County. The life you save could be your own. Let's do what's necessary in order to protect ourselves and protect our community. I'll have Mayor Sturman come forward to say a couple of words, and then we'll have Colonel Dave Holmes come up.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon. Everybody needs to understand the points Mayor Holness just made are critically important. Yes, the number of positive tests have gone up because we've done more testing, but so has the positivity rate, to a point where it's now in excess of 15% here in Broward County. That is a serious number that impacts you and me and everybody around us. And the simplest solution is this: that everybody is required to wear it, to prevent people from gathering in large groups. This community was successful a number of weeks ago, flattening the curve. And then in an effort to let things open up again, we did, and the numbers have skyrocketed. And the mayor and every other mayor in this county attends weekly conference calls to discuss where we are and how to work collaboratively for the 1.9 million people that call Broward County home, including with every member of law enforcement, because they're the front lines that have to go out and deal with those that are not responsible enough to wear a mask, that are causing injury to the rest of us. So please, none of us want to do this, but it is in everyone's health and best interest to do this. The next step is something none of us want to get to, but unless we blunt this curve, we may not have a choice. We can't hide from it. The numbers continue to skyrocket. Ask anybody you know in the healthcare system that works at a hospital. They're starting to bust at the seams, not only for space, but staffing. Every doctor, every nurse, every technician, every member that works in the healthcare setting is honestly overworked, and they're exhausted. So please, for everyone's sake, please do a simple thing and wear your mask. It protects me and it protects you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Colonel Holmes.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Sheriff Greg Toney and members of the Broward County Sheriff's Office, we're going to start increasing our enforcement as a result of a new executive order set forth by the county. We ask that residents here in Broward County please adhere to the new executive order. As a result of the increased number of gatherings and house parties, there's been a nexus of increase of crime. Our deputies are out here working hard to make sure the residents are safe and secure. And with this new executive order, we're going to be beefing up patrols in all areas of the county. And as a result, those house party calls that our deputies respond to, we're going to be issuing citations, notice to appears, to the owners and shutting down the parties. We have to get a hold of the increasing crime that's taking place as a result of these gatherings. We are hoping that most of the residents adhere to the new executive order so we can have a minimum number of NTAs issued and a minimum number of arrests that take place here in Broward County. However, we're here to increase our enforcement for the citizens here in Broward County to make sure we all are safe and secure. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Holmes. And if I may add, one of the things that brought this order out is a correlation between these parties that are happening. Colonel Holmes told me that since March 1st, they have had over 1,168 calls complaining about parties in the neighborhood. People are not able to get home. There is even one incident where in North Lauderdale, Mayor Zaidi told us that the folks hired their own security to tell people where to park and how to park. We can't have this continue. All of us have a responsibility to end this. I'm pleased to let you know also we're joined by Assistant County Administrator Kim Campbell, who's working tirelessly along with county administrator and the rest of the county staff to do what is necessary to protect our community. We're open for questions.
Mayor, can you just clarify one part of the emergency order? Section 4 says that all people who reside in the residential property are responsible for people at that property following all applicable guidelines, including facial cover requirements. That doesn't mean people need to be wearing masks inside their own houses, does it?
No, that's not what that means. It means that when we have extended gatherings at a house, that should be observed. Now, I'd say this to you also, that speaking to the Department of Health in Broward County, Dr. Tachi has told us that 60 to 80% of the spread is within families. So I would implore everyone to take the necessary steps. If someone is visiting you and there might be family, not necessarily in your own household, that you ought to look to see how you safeguard yourself also and safeguard that household. So I would say this, that in civilized society, we have rules that we're governed by to protect each of us. And this is what this is doing. We are in unprecedented times. This is not something that we take lightly. But the well-being of the people of Broward County is at stake. And for us to not do everything we can wouldn't be right. What this does, it will help us, hopefully, if folks follow what we've issued, to not have to shut down again, which will put people out of work, close businesses, and make it difficult for people to provide for themselves and to have a livelihood. We can never tell if this is going to be enough. But what we're doing is taking the steps that we believe are prudent in order to stop the spread of the virus. If we see our hospital beds depleted and we don't have any more room for people to go to, then we might have to do more. So I'm hoping and I'm praying that everyone do what's necessary to help us limit the spread of this virus. I wouldn't say this is the last resort before shutdown. We are going to consider every available avenue to protect the people of Broward County. We'll have a call this week with the mayors again and bring in our hospitals, our medical personnel, and listen to what they have to tell us. We'll also have a meeting of the County Commission this week also to further discuss this so all our commissioners can have input. And they have input in this also, because part of what's done before we issue an order is consultation with all the Board of County Commissioners and with the mayors across Broward County and the county and the city managers in the cities also. So this is not done lightly. It's not done in a vacuum. We're working in a collaborative way because at the end of the day, all our cities has to help us with the enforcement of these orders. We also put in place restriction for restaurants. We need people to be served at tables rather than at the bars. And this is a problem that we're having. The problem we're having is some restaurants are acting as bars. Some bars and clubs that should not have been open are opening, pretending that they're restaurants. These actions we're taking, I believe, are prudent to help us fight this pandemic. So I can tell you that based on our call this week, on Tuesday, and Mayor Sturmer will testify to that what we've put in here has consensus. We're never going to get 100% agreement, but we get consensus as much as we can, and we move forward to protect the people of Broward County.
Have you been tracing the new cases so that you can tell this is how many are coming from these parties, this is how many are coming from vacation rentals, this is how many are coming from late night work? Do we know that this is the source of the bump?
So Dr. Tachi has told us that we've had additional number of tracers hired. We've moved them into our Memorial Center, a larger facility. We are planning to move them further to the Citrix building, a new building a building that we're renovating, not a new building, but a building we're renovating, so that they can all be accommodated together, getting the technology in place right now for that. It's difficult, she tells us, to tell you exactly where someone got the virus from. We all move about. So to say this is exactly where you get the virus from, it's very difficult to tell. What she has told us is that from the contact tracing that they're doing, that within families, 60 to 80% of the people who have the virus are telling the health department that someone in their family had the virus also, and that it's possible that's where they get it from, to the expansion that's happening now in terms of the number of people testing positive. Let me say this also, that the community have been very helpful. Most people, by and large, the majority of people in Broward County are adhering to the rules. We need to get to where we can have higher amount of compliance, and as a result of that, we're taking action. We've set up our 311 number for folks to report any violations that we might have. So if you see something going on, 311 is the number to call. Thanks to our cities, our partners in the cities, they're responding to these calls. They're sending code enforcement out. They're sending law enforcement out to ensure that we're closing down these activities that are causing us these problems. So 311 is open. There's a dashboard that reports to the public what is going on with many of these establishments. Again, thank you for being here. We're in this together, all of us. All of us have a responsibility to stop the spread of this deadly virus. Thank you.